think about this, when you feel grateful, how hard is it to feel fear? It's impossible. I've tried it. Try to feel fear while feeling grateful. It is literally impossible. So it removes all fear, it removes anxiety. So that grateful aspect you touched on is so key. And that's part of it. And for me with the animals as well, it's somewhat it kind of freaks me out sometimes how it feels like more than a coincidence. We don't I feel like yours we don't really see coincidences too often. It all feels like synchronicities. And a part of this connection that's can so much better humanity is when you connect to these orbs and you know that there is a presence all around us of love, and you know that they're up there. They're not always watching us and observing us, but we know that our decisions and our choices that we make are powerful. They're significant. They impact other forms, other fragments of God, other beings. As far as just the choices you make impacts humans, and when that happens, and you have this connection turned on, you start to think about your choices a bit more. I haven't had road rage since this has happened. The most road rage I'll have is maybe like, "Oh, come on." There is not intense anger because I know that none of it is too big of a deal, and to stay, I don't know, in a positive mindset, we're human. You can make poor choices, but I believe when you connect, you become more aware of the choices that you're making and the impact that it has. So it's not like an all surveilling system, Big Brother type thing, but there's just moments where you go, you know what? Wait, I shouldn't probably do that choice because there is a all knowing consciousness that not observing you, but is just there. And I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's really interesting you bring up the things that you brought up because to me, I feel like that they don't want to impede on our free will as well too. Like it is our choice if we want to connect with them. Like you could very well just go about your life, ignore the sky, try to not connect with any higher intelligence, and it's really up to us if we want to seek that connection. And when you do seek that, I feel like they're there to help us. Like it's they always want to help us, but they're not going to do it unless we're open and ready to accept the help from them. And I feel like that's a big thing with disclosure too. Like I hear a lot of people like, why don't they just come land and get this over with or whatever? And I really feel like the whole point of all of this is like a consciousness evolution for the human species. And I think we are in the process of remembering ancient senses or abilities or skills, such as like psychic abilities, that we've lost throughout time that we are all capable of that we used to just do all the time back in ancient history. And it's kind of just like this remembering when you like go through a spiritual awakening, you realize that a lot of this stuff, at least in my opinion, was there's a lot of really ancient information out there. Like it pushed me into learning about the ancient shaman and realizing 35,000 years ago, which is the oldest recorded history that we have on humanity, the shaman was the most respected community member, and it was their job to connect with the star people, to gather information to bring back to help the community of like, where should we hunt? Where should we live? Where can we find resources? So, that's like remote viewing, dowsing for water. Like, it's all of these things that we used to be able to do that now we just think are so sci fi that it's impossible. And it's kind of just awaking us back up to that. And another one is telepathy, which is like the way that I believe that these orbs communicate with us. They send us kind of like little knowings that you just have like this, like a thought pop in your head, like maybe I should look into that, or maybe I should go this way instead of that way, like I normally do. Like it's just these little things that pop in that kind of like you were talking about earlier, like there is no coincidences once you're going through this. You realize everything's kind of being led and guided for you. And like we have the choice if we want to go down whatever path. But if you learn to really trust your intuition and open your heart, that's when you can start like aligning to those highest paths and really start waking up more and developing these abilities even more. And since I've been doing that, I mean, like the videos kind of speak for themselves. You go to my old videos, I'd see like maybe a couple lights flying through the sky. And then just in October last year at a public Skywatch event with 12 other people there, I on camera asked for two orbs to appear side by side. I said I would really love to be able to see two orbs side by side, like because earlier in the night, that's how it started. We saw these two orbs fly side by side, and I couldn't record it. And I just said, I'm going to speak it into existence. There will be two orbs side by side. In less than a minute, there was two massive glowing orbs side by side, just like I asked. And it just gets to this point where like that can't be a coincidence. Like it did the exact thing I asked within a minute, live in front of other people. Like it's just so crazy. And I, yeah, like I think anyone can connect with this phenomenon and start having these experiences if you start getting to that internal state of gratitude and trying to open up and develop a relationship with whatever this intelligence is that's out there that clearly wants to help us. Like that's the biggest thing. Like it feels like it really wants to help us out. Yeah, I know. It was. I wish we could get another one side by side like we got earlier. Now that it's dark, I'm gonna speak it into existence. There will be another one side by side.
Thank you so much. Just God bless you for letting us come out. Like seriously, I'm so touched with your kindness and your generosity and just letting us into your home.
Whoa! What are those? Oh my God! What are those? Thank you.
Oh, they're huge. Wow.
I just said we're gonna get two side by side. Wow! Thank you.
They're just chilling.
Yeah, they're they're just chilling. Wow.
Yeah, they're like it's like they're connected.
Oh, I just saw a flash over to the left too.
There's so much
Oh my God! Thank you. Oh, I just saw the flash to the left again. It was like right over in this area. Oh, yeah, there you. Thank you.
Thanks for blinking.
Can we? Oh, thank you. Can we get another flash, please? Those two were amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. And to me, it almost felt like validation too, to where it's saying when it shows itself and you're doing these thought processes, it's almost saying you're on the right path. This is the way. Yes, we hear you. You're in the right zone. Now we are going to show you. Um, there's this validation that happens. And then you think back the next day thinking, man, I was really in such a great headspace there, and I reached this elated state and just this love, and they came and they validated, and so it almost just validates this line of thinking, and the line of thinking, simply put, is love. So I mean, it could go all the way down to bare bones of when you choose love and you choose an openness, they validate through these pleasant sightings of orbs. It's not, and to me, I think it's just like dipping our consciousness into this pool of something that's not going to frighten us. Imagine what better way to show us that this is real than beautiful orbs of light. It could get probably far more intense as far as different types of beings, different types of craft or something, but to be a orb of plasma that comes down or flies by in precise formations, that is just such a pleasant way to get this thing started. And different things can come in, but the orbs, I think, is going to be able to wake people up on a grander scale without inducing fear. So yeah, I think I don't know. I just think there's so much validation in your line of thinking when you turn this on.
Mm. Yeah. And I know on our previous episode, we didn't really dive into your Skywatcher experience too much. So maybe we could go into that a little bit too when you went out and did. Uh, so for anyone who hasn't watched the previous episode, go watch that first. But John was a part of the Skywatcher group and got to go out and do a Skywatch as a psionic asset out in the desert. And I would just love to hear what was the process like for that? Was it similar to what you do now, or was there any slight differences or anything like that?
It was very similar, and I'll say some things we did as a group because none of this would break any sort of thing as far as an agreement. But when we were together meditating, we had this pre-meditation as far as setting the intention. And J2 led us in a way that was a bit deep, where he said, imagine a circle of light coming around, like rotating through us
Mm,
counterclockwise. And imagine this beam of light rotating and rotating counterclockwise and then shooting straight up into space, letting them know where we are. So there was a more of a visual aspect in your mind as far as really projecting that beam of light. Some people also project themselves in, like, what's it called, a Merkaba, or
mhm.
Merkaba. But
Yeah, like
there
one of
was
these.
that mental imagery of beaming up of light, but then we went into our own modalities, our individual modalities as one simultaneously. So however they call out, Mike Batista's very casual with it. He doesn't go deep into overthinking about it. He's more just kind of like being himself in his vibe. I go a bit deeper into meditation using over ear headphones and tapes, and the rest of the guys do their thing. But as far as like anything special that we haven't covered, it was all pretty similar to what we've talked about. The gratitude, the emanating love. I picture where we are on the planet. And yeah, it was just similar to what we've discussed, this rooted love meditation. But we meditated a bit longer than I normally do. You get really relaxed as well, laying down on a nice chair on your back. I would recommend when you meditate, definitely on your back. The yogis do that, where there's something about laying on your back and the organs, the way everything's just balanced. Um, I think definitely would recommend that. But no, nothing too like specialized with Skywatcher, just straight up love-based meditation, but having a bit more visual as far as that beam of light I thought was interesting. Oh, and J2 encouraged this pineal gland activation meditation tape, which I thought was really interesting. Certain frequency maybe, and something that focused on the pineal gland.
Hmm. Okay.
But I'll say at Skywatcher, there was a moment that has never happened to me since or before, where something came inside, it stood over me. I have a blocked memory, but I think it really showed itself in its true form as far as some form of being. And apparently, I screamed my face off, and what they called it was blood curdling scream. But
Gee.
I know that it wasn't anything to fear because there was a split brain effect where half of my brain was laughing at myself, literally saying, "Look at you screaming. How could you be screaming right now?" But then the other half was turned off, absolutely screaming my face off. And then about 5 to 6 seconds of screaming, J2 wakes up. He's a witness to this. And he looks at me and he's like, "What the fuck? What's going on?" And I wake up out of it. And I say, "Oh, and this is how I talked. I said, "Oh, I think I had a nightmare that I was screaming." He was like, "You were just screaming your absolute face off." So I have a completely blocked memory. I can remember the ceiling. I remember my arm kind of like waving at the ceiling. And I remember being in this bubble of silence, this unbelievable energy. Could not hear myself screaming. And at that moment, I kind of realized I think I just saw something where I have a truly blocked memory, which is unbelievable. And that kind of leads me back. I guess the whole point I'm saying all this is when you're not ready, it showed me mercy, and I don't remember what I was consciously awake screaming at. I think my camera just glitched. Um, but yeah, that was a bizarre moment. And then it retreated back to just orbs and orb visitation. So yeah, it showed me mercy, and I just that's an unbelievable experience I had at Skywatcher that I've never had since or before.
Yeah, that's really interesting because I'm pretty sure I have a blocked memory as well from my second OBE because I saw two gray aliens in this like room that was filled with fog, and then all of a sudden it was black, and I was back in my body. Like yeah, it was a crazy experience. I'm debating on doing like a regression to try to see if I can get past the block and see what it was. But like same thing though. I think it's just them trying to like install a block to something you may not be ready for. Like for my experience, I went out of body the first night and had like the most exciting, profound experience of my life, floating around, floating up out of my body in my room and everything. And then the following night, I had this terrifying experience with some gray ETs that I'm not sure if I got abducted. Like, I'm not sure if I even like physically got abducted or if I got like an astral abduction or like I have no idea. But it also the experience led me to learning about abduction cases and John Mack and all these different things. So that's another thing too. Like if you go through these experiences, even if they are terrifying in the moment, which like in that moment I was terrified. I didn't have not tried an out of body in almost 2 years because of that experience. But it made me go learn other things that I wasn't going to go look into because I didn't want to look into the abduction side of the phenomenon. I didn't want to know about all that stuff. And then when I actually took the time and read the book and listened to all these different cases, I realized like, okay, like I needed to hear this. I needed to learn these things because it's not, I don't know. I feel like there's so much going on that we don't understand. And like, I don't know. I feel like there's just, we are not what we think we are. Like, learning about out of body experiences, the Monroe Institute, all these different things, like near death experiences, all that, realizing that we are not our physical bodies. And like probably most of the time, we are that non physical form. Like, this is probably a very limited, like, thing for us. Like, this is like playing a video game. This is just an experience we're going through to learn different lessons, to evolve and grow into these different versions of ourselves. And it's just, I don't know, there's so much to this phenomenon. And even going through these scary experiences and stuff like that, I still just, when I go out and connect with the orbs, it's still just nothing but love. And it never like made me want to not go connect with them still, even after having those experiences. And I don't know. I just feel like we are on such the verge of this breakthrough of understanding reality and consciousness and all these different things. And I just, it really feels like they're doing their best to guide us to that. And yeah, yeah,
Wondering, what do you like when people have asked me if the people ask, how can you say it's so love based when people are being abducted and going through a hellish experience? It's hard for me to explain, and I just kind of say, well, this is a different type of interaction with NHI. This is a intentional inviting through love to love-based beings, or something that vibes to that frequency and is compatible to that, and is, responding to that, and it's all done through intention and desire through our own accord. An abduction phenomenon, I can't really relate to that, and I don't wanna speak to it because I don't know about it, but I just feel like it's totally different. It could be an external species choosing people based on whatever factor, lineage, blood type. Maybe they're in the perfect spot at the perfect time. And it's more just, it could just be, for science, or it could just be for saving their own dying species, and they need cells, and they need like ova and whatnot. So that I think is it's just such a different phenomenon or aspect to the connection of phenomenon that yeah, it's not related to CE5 or intentionally calling out through consciousness. That is a different type of experience, and
Yeah,
it's apples and oranges. So if you're not being abducted and you're just living a normal life, you can connect through love and not have terrifying experiences. If you
yeah,
connect and you have fear and you have anxiety and you're in a dark spot, you may get something that is compatible to that, and but when you get into the right zone and you're calling out, it's not you're not gonna necessarily get abducted. Bledsoe is unique though, where he was in this traumatic spot. He was looking to potentially take his own life. So he was in this desire, trauma, call out that's a bit different, and he got taken up, and he got not but it wasn't a scary abduction. So it all varies, but, what do you think
I
about,
mean,
like,
they
the
healed
abduction?
him. They healed his
Yeah,
Crohn's
that's right.
disease. Yeah. So that's another thing too. Like, even like my experience was terrifying, but it was only terrifying because I didn't know what was going on. Like, for I don't even know if it's an abduction. I don't know what it is, but it's just even that, like, I think it was teaching me something, and it was something that I needed to go through. But like you said, like, there is this very distinct, like, if I go out to Skywatch and I'm connecting with the orbs and it's through that gratitude and opening my heart, like, it really feels like, not to bring it into religion, but it feels just like what I would think an angel would feel like. Like, it's I'm literally going out, saying the equivalent of a prayer, and this thing that's showing up is the equivalent of an angel. And it's but I don't want to put those labels on it because that's when like the stigma and everything comes in. But that's I mean, that's what it's like. It's like this loving thing that's just here that wants to help you. And like, to bring it back to Monroe, like, we are not our physical bodies. So like, even for the abduction experience, like, who knows if I didn't make an agreement in my higher form to have this happen to me at this point in my life to evolve me into this next stage or whatever. Like, we have no idea what is going on behind the scenes with all these different things. And, like, being guided with all this stuff, it's really hard to not find, like, there had to be a reason to go through these experiences. There has to be a reason that we're connecting with this phenomenon right now. And I mean, to me, it's very clear. All you have to do is turn on the news now, and we have David Grush speaking in a press conference calling for we need truth and transparency because there is something here. They're here. The government knows about it. They're amongst us, basically. Like, he brought up the sentient plasmoid life, which is
Unbelievable.
the orbs. Like, that could be the orbs, or that could also be like light beings that people have described as well. Like, this plasma like being that seems to have some form of consciousness that's interacting with us. And then he also brought up corporeal bipedal beings. So, like, straight up, that means there is some kind of upright species that is here on this planet that the government knows about, which is just insane. Like, in 2023, if I were to go back in time and tell myself in 2023 that they're going to be having press conferences, congressional hearings, talking about these different alien beings and all this kind of stuff, I would have been like, yeah, right. Like, that's not going to happen. So, like, the fact that we are here right now, there's a reason, and there's a reason there's people like me and you who are connecting with this phenomenon in a loving way and really want to share that with everyone because it has been this thing that I say has enhanced my life. It's
Yes.
made me a much kinder, more open-hearted person who, like, I don't even like killing insects, and it's really hard because we have, like, an ant infestation right now, and I'm just like, "You're in my house, I'm sorry, but, like,
Yeah,
I don't know how to get rid of you," but,
I
like,
say
if I
sorry
have a
to
s yeah, I have if I have a spider, like, I'll go get a piece of paper and I'll take it outside. It's or, like, if I'm hiking out in the woods now, I thank the trees for creating the air. Like, I talk to the plants and wildlife around me now. Like, I realize everything is here going through this experience of life as well. It's just in a different form than what I'm experiencing right now. But it doesn't take away from the fact that they're living and they're having their own experience too.